This is an incoming transmission from the Jersey Shore.
This is Financial Insanity with Scott McLean, powered by McLean Advisory Group. Today you'll hear some of the most important financial information and wealth-building techniques available anywhere.
Let's get this party started, huh?
Do you have a question for Scott and the team?
Am I on the air?
609-488-4646. That's 609-488-4646.
We'll get that information to them by radio.
Now, Financial Insanity with Scott McLean.
This is Financial Insanity, the show we're going to take the chaos of the market and turn into a clear path for your financial future. As always, I'm your host, Alex Dingman, alongside, as always, Scott McLean from McLean Advisory Group right here in Waretown. And Scott today is going to help us figure out if our portfolios are as safe as we think that they are. Are we just riding a risk roller coaster? We're talking about that today. And if you have questions about anything we discussed today, that number, 609-488-4646, 609-488-4646. But Scott's looking at your portfolio. Is it really safe? Important topic.
It is an important topic, Alex, and most people are totally unaware. The biggest mistake I find with seniors is they really don't understand, and or other advisors that are in the growth mode, they don't understand the risks that come, the difference between growth and income. And so I really wanted to hone in on this because people like to have that steady income. They like to have that ability and capability of knowing the check's going to show up on the first of every month when they go to the mailbox or they go to their bank account. It's showing up there. So I appreciate us talking about risk in 5 different areas I hope we're able to cover today, Alex. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. And Scott, when people think of their portfolio, do you think people are generally feeling like it's a safe bet or more like a Vegas gamble? What's your take on it?
Yeah, you know what? They do think it's a Vegas gamble, and that's a really great question. The market really can sometimes feel like a casino, but the difference is with the right strategy, you don't have to leave it all to chance. One key factor to look at is called beta, which is essentially the risk or the heartbeat of your portfolio. If it's too high, you might be in for a bumpy ride. So obviously you are expecting the unexpected, but you want to be optimistic. But are you going to be consistent? That's the key.
And Scott, for folks, maybe they're investing for growth, others looking for consistent income. And what's really the difference? And how does somebody decide what's the better route for them?
You know, we spoke about this before. If our listening audience might remember, I like using analogies. I call it the chicken and the egg comes to mind. Think of it as the chicken as your stock, your bond, your preferred, your BDC, your MLP, your portfolio. And so, of course, think of the chicken, that's vehicle, and the egg is the dividend. And an income portfolio that's designed to make eggs. And the eggs could be by way of dividends or interest. Now, provide a consistent source of income. Yes, that's what we're looking for in that type of investment, the income portfolio. You can collect those eggs and enjoy them, or you could reinvest them by buying more chickens, which means more eggs down the line. So you don't need it now, but maybe you want it down the line. This is a great way to design and tailor-make a portfolio. And, of course, the educated audience out there that's listening right now, that's called reinvestment of dividends. You've heard this all your life, but the question I want to make sure is sometimes the people don't understand that, and I want to keep it as simple as possible because, again, I want to have a lot of dividends coming in that can be reinvested. And this, depending what kind of market we're in, that's what's so important, Alex.
So it sounds like what you're saying, Scott, more chickens, more eggs coming with those chickens. That sounds like a solid plan.
Yeah. Ding, 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 ding. That's right. And cholesterol free. How about that?
There you go.
Now here's the difference, Alex. Most all people forget. In a growth portfolio, it's a way different story. You're not collecting eggs. You see, You're banking on the chicken getting bigger and bigger over time. This would equate to the growth stocks, small caps, mid caps, which are not designed for dividends, but if they do pay a dividend, the company's not going to pay it out. They're going to reinvest it in their company again to make their company grow. And that's what happens in a growth type stock portfolio when you have these tech stocks. And of course, if you need the income in this type of portfolio, you've got to start selling the chickens, the shares of stock in the portfolio, which will rapidly deplete itself if the market's dropping. Therefore, if the market's down, you've got to sell a lot more chickens, shares of stock, just to get the same income. We talk about that in my book, The Three Blind Mice, because we have an income portfolio that can last the rest of your life. Do you have that? I'm not sure. Now, everybody that is young, like yourself, Alex, and those listeners, maybe the children, they call it dollar cost averaging, where you put the same amount of money in and it grows, and it works. The challenge is when you get older, it's called reverse dollar cost averaging. Not many people are talking about that. And when you look at the portfolio, the beta, the risk factor, in a rising market, everybody's happy, Alex. I know you're happy. You see your portfolio going up, everybody's happy. They're having a celebration. But in a downturn, you could end up with fewer chickens and no eggs, and therefore the portfolio evaporates quickly and possibly no chance of coming back because what? You sold off so many shares, and that's not a position anybody wants to be. So I want to caution people, those that are 73, taking required minimum distributions may just be in that position, and you're totally unaware of it. You could be in a growth portfolio selling off shares of stock, Alex.
That number, if you are maybe concerned or have questions about how some of this volatility from the past month or so might be affecting your portfolio, that number 609-488-4646 for Scott McLean, the team at McLean Advisory Group, 609-488-4646. And what should people be thinking about, Scott, when they hear about this market volatility, the ups and downs? And I mean, how worried should people be about these potential losses?
Well, I would hope they have for those do-it-yourselfers, a good tolerance for risk. But sometimes when you're feeling more nervous than excited, it might be a sign your portfolio's beta, risk factor, is too high. The volatility can be thrilling for some people if you're at a theme park. Yeah. But when it's your retirement, Alex, savings, well, if that's on the line, maybe you're not so excited. So again, it's the person's internal core. Can you handle it or not handle it? But then on top of that, I've got some people calling in say, Scott, I'd like to buy some these fancy tech stocks, Nvidia or maybe Carvana went from $4 to $150. These stocks, it could be taking off, but these could be wonderful when you're making money. But could they go back down where they started from? Yes. So again, you might want to think about lowering the risk factor. You spoke about it before, jumping off the diving board, a high dive versus the ground level, belly flops hurt. So lowering the beta can really bring some peace of mind to many of you out there listening right now. That's right, you may be worried about whether it's what time of year it is. It could be election period. It could be interest rates changes, and you're really maybe losing sleep. Well, how do we not lose sleep? Well, that's where people give our studios a call. And they ask, Scott, can we get together? How can I get some assurances? 609-488-4646 is there for you. By the way, that's our website.com. Again, why is it there for you? Because then you'll speak to myself or George. Our whole team is designed to really, how do we help you design a portfolio that you can relate to, that you can sleep with? A lot of people want 10-15% rate of returns, especially back in the 80s. But I can promise you this, especially in 1990s to 2000, the market was screaming and no one talked about income. They talked about growth. Well, you want peace of mind when the market dropped from 2000 to 2003, when the market dropped almost 50%? or from 2007 to 2009, where it dropped almost 63%. If you want peace of mind, figure out what risk level you can have. Find out what your portfolio, the beta rating is. That's why people give our studios a call or they come in to visit with us on a one-to-one basis. And I'd love to talk to you off the air, 609-488-4646. Don't put your head on the pillow when it's so in your face and you could take action, Alex. That's what people should do. I really believe that.
Yeah, and you've mentioned it a few times for folks, and I want to make sure we're not going too high level, but the idea of beta, I know it's something that you feel like maybe isn't discussed enough. Maybe somebody's out there, maybe they have an advisor or somebody who's assisting them, and they haven't heard about this or discussed it. If you could spend just a little bit of time there on the idea of beta and why that's so important.
Understanding beta, I won't go in the woods. Let's talk about riding a bicycle. You've got these big bicycles that have big fat wheels. And man, you could imagine yourself riding down the road. It's smooth. And if the road is flat and easy to ride and steady, that is wonderful. But if the road starts to get bumpy with lots of hills and dips, your ride gets a lot tougher. Right, Alex?
Yeah, of course.
And you've got to work much harder to stay balanced. You may have to stand up in your pedals so you don't get the bumps in your butt, but it's not as comfortable. Now think about the road as a stock market. The flat road means the market is stable, not going up and down. It's kind of boring and steady Eddie. People love that. But bumpy road means the market goes up and down. It's a lot more volatile. So beta is like a measure of how the bumpy road is in your investments. If the portfolio has a high beta, that means your ride is going to be bumpy, could be very bumpy. Now that could be good for some people, but not everybody. It will go up and down with the market. If it has low beta, your ride is smoother with fewer big ups and downs. So again, if you don't like the bumps, you want a smoother ride, you really want to look at your portfolio to lower the beta. But if you're okay, some of the bumps you might think's okay could really change your destination faster to the good or the bad. So again, let's understand that. Again, the key is knowing how much bumpiness you can handle before you want to get off that bike and say, I'm not getting on again.
Right. 609-488-4646, the number for Scott and his amazing team at McLean Advisory Group right here in Waretown, New Jersey, serving Ocean County and beyond. Again, that number 609-488-4646. This is Financial Insanity. Thanks for joining us.
Stop for a moment and think about this. Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money, but do you have a plan to help make sure you don't pay more than you should? At McLean Advisory Group, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you've earned, which is why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So call the McLean Advisory Group team today so you don't miss out on this opportunity. 609-488-4646. That's 609-488-4646. You work hard for your money, and we'll work just as hard to help you keep it. McLean Advisory Group, 609-488-4646. Investment advisory services offered through Sound Income Strategies, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. McLean Tax Advisory Group and Sound Income Strategies are not associated entities.
Get all this stuff and you try to put it away like these hoarders on TV. It has an emotional attachment.
So, Scott, you're saying I don't have to keep every single drawing that my son has done? You're saying I could throw some of that away?
The answer is yes. You can take a picture, then throw it out.
This is Financial Insanity with Scott McLean, presented by McLean Advisory Group.
Well, now that we know who the next president is going to be, many people wondering, how will the new administration affect my investments, my taxes, my estate plans? How can I make the most of these changes? I'm Alex Dingman, here as always next to Scott McLean, McLean Advisory Group. And Scott, it's exciting times. Obviously not everybody
sure.
is going to be super thrilled with the result. I mean, that's how it's always going to be, but it's exciting because at least we know. We know now what the situation is, how to move forward. A lot of people are excited about it. And Scott, today we're going to be talking about how to take advantage of the new administration, right, Scott?
I think it's important to take advantage of whether Kamala got in or Trump got in. We were having a show ready for this because I know people have it on their minds, and I
Right.
know the last 3 months meeting with people, they didn't know what to do. They didn't know where to go, tax wise, investment wise, estate planning wise, and now we're getting a clearer picture as the day goes on. So I am excited about that. So whether you, like you said, Alex, I appreciate those of you who don't like Donald Trump, that's fine. You're not going to go out to dinner with him or maybe have a beer with him. But I can tell you one thing: we know how to work with this, and that's what's important. So I'm not pushing either side, but I want to make sure that you're making the best financial decisions, the 3D approach, Alex.
Yep. And Scott, what we don't want is we don't want people changing their financial plan every 4 years given the new administration. That is not the point we're making. But there are some things that come to light that given what side is in, or what president is in, it does change, how some things may look moving forward. And so for us in the finance world, it's all about looking at this and then trying to determine, all right, where are the different opportunities? So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about some different areas that, may be positively affected with new corporate and personal tax structures likely on the way. So let's discuss this a little bit as far as some different changes. And one area, Scott, I know that is important is taxes. And this is something where it's just important to be able to look ahead and see the type of tax changes that may come to light that we would need to make some adjustments with our plan for.
We do. And I think what's exciting about the taxes, and now we can plan for it since we do taxes for our clients, is again paying attention to again the sunset rule that's coming off 2025. Probably going to make that permanent. Whether he makes Social Security taxable or non-taxable, because Social Security is taxable 50%. Then the next president came in, which was Clinton, and made it 85%. And if Trump makes it zero, I can tell you there's going to be a lot of those of you out there that are, whether you like Trump or not, you're going to like that new tax rules that all of your Social Security is not taxed. This could be a tremendous benefit. So when you do your tax planning with your financial advisor and your tax guy, they need to talk to each other, Alex. And this is really important in your planning and how to pull money out of your investments.
Absolutely. And Scott, before we get into the different sectors, I'm going to tell a joke. Okay, Scott?
All right.
And I want you to react here. All right. So, Scott, a lawyer, a financial planner, and a tax preparer walk into a bar. And this does sound like the start of a joke, right? Well, it would be, except they all left without agreeing who should pay the tab. See the problem here, Scott? Those three professionals, they rarely talk to each other, and when they don't talk, your money is the one picking up the bill. Now, I gotta be honest. I stole that one from you, Scott. But if you could, bud, why is this a joke? I know that you share, or I thought that you share. What is your meaning here?
We talk about it in my book when I wrote it a few years ago, Financial Planning. I call it the Three Blind Mice, how the financial planning process leads your money to a mousetrap. And so, of course, those of you who don't understand the tax situation, the estate planning situation, and the investment situation, when they don't talk to each other, it leads you to a mousetrap that you end up having to pay the bill, as you just said, Alex, and the tab is out there. So the question is, how do we reduce that? And so thanks for joining our show today. If you need to have any questions during this show, a very powerful show today that Alex and I were talking about, you want to definitely write this down. Very important, very, very important number to write down. And that number is 609-488-4646. Again, I'll give it to you. That's directly to my staff, my radio show here, and my staff will get a hold of you, hold of me to make a time we can speak, 609-488-4646, so I can try to answer your questions the best as possible. No cost. No, you're not going to get a bill, but it's just time. And so it's my freebie. It's how can I introduce myself to you and really benefit you who listening? 609 888-488-4646, Alex.
Thank you for that, Scott. All right, let's dive into these sectors now. So with the new presidential administration, some sectors, some changes, some things we might want to take advantage of. We'll get through as many of these as possible. But first, Scott, let's talk about the energy sector. What should we be focusing on there?
The energy sector, as we know, as he kept saying, Donald Trump kept saying, drill, baby, drill. And of course, that's been the theme. I guess that's like singing a beautiful song. And so that's going to really help out. And hopefully how he taxes that sector, we have a huge deficit. We're not hearing a lot about the deficit, but if we're drilling, we're building reserves, not giving reserves away. We're charging for our energy. This could be a tremendous benefit for us as Americans and building our reserves up. And I can tell you, this could be a great benefit for those of you who are concerned about the deficit, for your grandkids and great grandkids, and forget even yourself. And then when you look at, of course, where do you invest? Okay, what sectors? Well, the energy, Alex, as you stated, is a great sector of stocks. And those of you who like income, dividends, and interest, this could be a tremendous area to look into, Alex.
All right. And another one, Scott, I know defense and aerospace, another sector as we could possibly expect more military spending.
We can expect that. And I think that's where the Trump is going to be printing a lot of money. So he's got to make it somewhere up. Could be the energy sector to make it up. But our military isn't what it should be, nor what it has been in other presidencies. So we need to work on that. But on top of that, it's not just like President Obama said, well, we've got these satellites, we got the drones. Okay, well, wait a minute. We also need men and women. We need them to help us. We need people. And so technology is going to be a huge thing. And I know you said the infrastructure, but technology is going to be a huge impact, again, using the AI, as well as our infrastructure and bidding our ships out there, because China's way overdoing us. So this area is really, really important as we look at that infrastructure. And I can tell you this is really important, and we have to build up our military.
All right, Scott, as we're going through some sectors that could potentially get a boost here under the Trump administration. So another area, and this one obviously one that you're very attuned to, financial services. Now, how might the tax structure impact this sector, Scott?
It could really change a lot. Now, we just know that in the IRAs, the 401ks, 403b, they just now changed the rules of how much you can put away. Alex, I'm not sure if you know this, but if those of you who are making big money, you can actually put a lot more money away. And in other words, invest it into an IRA, 401k, 403b, but not the normal $7,000. But now they actually changed that. So the financial sectors are going to be affecting that. You can put up to $30,000 away for those of you making big money and reduce your taxes. But again, the policies related to interest rates, the deregulations, the Tax Reform Act, which is changing your RMDs in 2033 to age 75. So, Alex, this is a great benefit for you, a tremendous benefit for younger people. I missed it by 2 years, unfortunately. Mine is 73. But for those of you that are younger, you can think of now, how can I defer money, put money out there, still have access to it, still get tax write-offs? This is a great area. So deregulations, Tax Reform Act really will affect that, as well as, of course, when you look at the industry, when you're reducing taxes, and when you look on the financials, as well as income tax into the industrial world, as we talk about the industrial world, changing it from the 21% to 15%, that is going to be huge. And so you definitely want to take advantage of the industrials as well infrastructure. But again, in the financial sectors, which is the banks, insurance companies, the asset management firms, and of course, the payment processing firms. These could be, again, another sector. Deregulation could be a great benefit.
And to that point, Scott, another area, and you've kind of mentioned it, infrastructure, construction, but this is another one, as you have the Trump administration expected to focus on revitalizing American infrastructure.
You're right, Alex. You look at small companies that we grew up with, Alex. Now, me, that being the old timer on this phone, on this radio show, you look at Caterpillar, Lockheed Martin. These are industrial infrastructure. These companies have to they're going to be helping out the defensive companies, the manufacturing, transportations. This is a great area. The government spending, could they be blowing money in the wrong area? Now they have a whole new division that's going to oversee the spending, which I'm really excited about, because again, many of you remember years ago where they're spending a toilet seat could be $500 after they do a study, or these stupid studies that were giving money overseas to watching a shrimp run a treadmill, and how long can it run? It was just stupid spending. But the industrial infrastructure, this is so important, again, not only to a military, but then building. We need more infrastructure. We need more homes. This could be another booming sector in your portfolios. And again, you don't want to be overweighted in just one portfolio, but I'm giving you a few of those areas, Alex, that you're asking me about.
I took that personally when you commented about the shrimp on a treadmill. I don't know why.
Well, I
I
can't help you're only 3'2".
Yeah, right.
That's your problem.
All right. What about the fifth sector here, Scott? Technology. Looking at some anticipated tax incentives and policies that could, favor some growth innovation in this area.
Well, this is really driving and the innovation and the economy, which will go into every single sector of the industry, whether it's wartime tools, drones. Okay. Now, how about your home? How about your TV? How about these things are tremendous. We're going from TV news to now podcasts. Again, the technology is really the driving innovation. These smart kids that are in their basement making and inventing things, almost like many of you older people, when you remember when you got your first colored TV. Well, now we have the TV on our phone. So again, we encompass the software, hardware, and then the services. And now we see this NVIDIA, the Alphabet, Google, Microsoft, Apple. These companies are going to really get blessings on that. And again, it's going to go back to deregulations, because I know they're trying to hit Google right now based on their search engine. They're trying to get Google to sell their search engine. This came up recently. So again, it's really, really less sensitive to interest rates rising or falling. But again, the more interest rates are falling, if you have bonds out there, you might want to pay attention to your bonds. Could companies get rid of your bond or your preferred stock, and of course revitalize their investments, these big companies, and again issue new preferreds and new bonds, getting rid of you have a callable bond or a preferred. Really important to pay attention to the income tools if you're depending on income. But again, technology, Alex, you hit it on the head. This drives innovation and economic growth like unbelievable.
We are talking a new era of financial confidence on Financial Insanity today. If you have a question for Scott, that number 609-488-4646. That is 609-488-4646. Plenty more to come. Thank you so much for joining us today for Financial Insanity, out-of-the-box thinking for your financial sanity.
Who likes uncertainty? Wall Street certainly does not. With near record inflation and partisan politics, there's a lot of uncertainty right now. What will America's future look like? What will your future look like? Will your taxes go up? Will your savings go down? For more than 40 years here in the Jersey Shore area, Scott McLean and the team at McLean Advisory Group have seen uncertainty come and go. No matter what the future holds, Scott can help you create a plan designed to preserve your finances in uncertain times. And it's not a matter of if those uncertain times will show up, but when. Call 609-488-4646 now to meet with Scott McLean and the team at McLean Advisory Group. If uncertainty is causing you to feel insecure, Scott McLean might be able to help. Call 609-488-4646 and schedule your visit today. Again, that's 609-488-4646.
Investment advisory services are offered through Sound Income Strategies, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Can we really live the go-go years, or am I going to scrimp and save and stay at home and watch TV, watch Bob Barker? I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
We made it back. This is Financial Insanity with Scott McLean, presented by McLean Advisory Group.
Last segment, we talked about opportunities to take advantage of given the new presidential administration. We mentioned it could be a good time to invest in the following sectors: energy, defense and aerospace, financial services, infrastructure and construction, and technology. So it definitely sounds like there are some incredible opportunities across these sectors, especially with the new tax structures coming into play. But Scott, if you could tell us more about McLean Advisory Group's approach to ensuring clients' financial security even in changing times.
Those of you listening, we really want to understand, and I think you do too, especially your spouse as well, especially if you have spouses that are not really involved in money, but they need to understand what's going on, or beneficiaries of your assets. The dreams, it's about aligning the investments with each of your personal goals. And then the dollars, where we consistently focus on the climate, the markets, the Congress, the president, and protecting those through growing your wealth through, again, taxes, strategic tax and investment planning. And then lastly, the dynasty. How does the money pass on so that no matter what the economic landscape is, we're making sure as best as possible that we can give you heads up and caution the investor so they can seek growth and seek protection, as well as not have a complex or a very tremendously taxable estate. And that's what's really important about the 3D approach: the dreams, the dollars, and the dynasty, Alex. This is really critical.
It really is. And Scott, another thing that is critical for a comprehensive approach, which you take, is looking at the tax code. And I know that there are definitely some things here with the new administration to look at to make sure that you have a good strategy, and making sense of things when it happens to be as far as taxes and what makes the most sense.
When you look at taxes, Alex, and I'm glad you brought that up. We talked about it earlier in this workshop show. It's number one, Social Security, because Social Security can be taxed up to 85%. That doesn't mean used to be tax-free, and then under Reagan, he made it 50%. Under Clinton, he changed it to 85%. But if Trump changes it to 0%, everything changes on how you pull money out. So we are paying attention to that. Again, taxes. How much should you take? Where should you take it? Almost like a Roth IRA. Should I do Roth conversions or not Roth conversions? So again, paying attention to the tax code. Again, the sunset law coming off the table in 2025. If Trump makes it permanent, this could really benefit you. Again, taxable estate, when it passes on to the heirs, will they get whacked or not? Do you have to do the 10-year stretch upon passing money on to your children or not? And again, they may be unaware of taxes, but I can tell you the firm that you're working with needs to guide them, educate them, and work with them so they make sure that your dollars, along with your dreams, are not pilfered, stolen, evaporate, because of the dynasty was set up wrong, and updating your will, power of attorney, living will, or maybe you need some trust planning.
Well, and Scott, for folks that are out there and maybe they have questions or they're concerned about how they're going to meet their goals or how they're going to protect their family's future, what would you tell these folks to do?
I think the most important thing is you get off the couch, get off the golf course, or don't do that. When you're at the golf course, maybe give our studios a call and schedule a time to visit with us. No cost, no obligation, or give our studios a call at 609-488-4646. And the reason why is because maybe you've gotten something from our shows in the past, 12, 13, 14 years we've been doing the radio. And maybe it's about time you stop the procrastination nonsense, and maybe you get a second or third opinion, maybe from someone who looks at it holistically in the sense of, let me look at your tax returns. Let me see your trust, your will, your power of attorney. Let me understand who the people are in your life that in case you can't make a shot or call, so we know who to speak to and we know how to guide you. This is essential. 609-488-4646. Don't procrastinate. Give our studios a call. Happy to talk to you off the air. No cost, no obligation. This is our give back to our community since 1983. I've been licensed and got in the business in 1982. So I think it's really important, Alex, especially now in the new administration we have this next few years. I can tell you this could be a really windfall for those of you listening that do take action. 609-488-4646. Real simple to call us.
As we're talking today about a new era of financial confidence on the show today. And I want to remind folks as well, they can always go to the website. Scott gave out that number, 609-488-4646. Just add a .com for the website. And Scott, I think, a lot of what we're talking about today is taking advantage of this current administration. And that is really important. And Scott, you're the man that, we already pointed out the sectors. We're going to talk about the different areas and the tax code and how we can take advantage and all that. But the other great benefit that you have, Scott, is being in this industry for 40 plus years, and you've seen, I know, trust me, it's going to sound good when I'm all said and done here. But Scott, you've seen a bunch of administrations come and go, and you've seen a lot of different things happen in the world and how it affects finances. And so, Scott, not only can you have a conversation about, all right, how can, I best set you up here given the current administration, but also to say, but we don't want, a different plan every 4 years. We're also going to develop a plan that's going to be able to withstand, ups and downs of the market or interest rates or administrations, whatever may be happening. And so I think that's just important to note to make, Scott, is that you're going to help people take advantage of the now, but then also make sure that people are set up for their own futures and for their family's future as well.
If they've been investing with our firm for years, the question is, when you look, there's almost a track record, a pattern when new presidents come in, old presidents leave. This is the norm. The question is, what is the norm now? It's kind of different. This President Trump now, is really shaking up the industry. So we are paying attention to it. But that doesn't mean we set it and forget it. No matter if you've had to do all the presidencies I've been involved in since 1982, licensed in 83, things pretty much, we see the norm, but there are people out there saying, okay, what's next? Especially if you're in retirement and you've watched this over the years, you understand. But maybe you're brand new to retirement. You're about to retire and you're nervous, like many people have, saying, Scotty, don't do any investments. Please don't do any investments. Wait to see the presidency. I'm not going to tell you or anybody, no, we're going to go ahead and invest. This is your money. It's not mine. I have to honor your words. I have to honor you. I'm not going to try to twist your arm and beg you to get in the market because I'm looking at the dollars. That's so ridiculous. And if any investment firm tells you to do that, they're just not paying attention to the sensitivity of what you're going through. This is your last hurrah. You're donating your money. You're giving your money to someone you hope you trust. You see, when the markets dive down, you fire that advisor. When markets scream back up, you love that new advisor. And then all of a sudden it turns back down like it did from 2000 to 2002. Then a market zoomed back up 2002 to 2007 7 years of no growth. Then from 2007 to 2009, the market drops down. Now you fire that advisor. You get a brand new advisor. You need holistic planning. You need to understand what is going on and what do we do. Can you ride this Mr. Wild Toad's ride or can you not? This is where we find out the beta factor in your portfolio. This is why people give our studios a call. Say, Scott, what is my risk factor? I've never was told my risk factor. That's the beta factor, 609-488-4646. Let me take a look at the portfolio, and we can give you a pretty good estimation of what you're doing, what's going on, and maybe you need to tweak it. Or maybe you call your financial advisor, then you call us and say, what do you see? Without even telling us you called your financial advisor, and find out what he or she said. So you are going to pay attention, not procrastinate, to make sure you're getting the biggest bang for your dollar and make sure people are paying attention to the risk and rewards of the market, Alex.
Yeah, and I love that 3D approach because it is customized to everybody. When you're going through that, it isn't a one-size-fits-all. That's the great thing about everybody that's out there, is that everybody is wonderful and unique in their own way, and they all have whatever makes the most sense for them when it comes to their financial plan. Everybody has a different risk tolerance. Everybody has, different amounts of money to invest. Everybody has different ideas about what, leaving a lasting legacy means. And so that's the other thing, Scott, is that you're coming in and you're looking at an individual or you're looking at a couple strictly as, this is unlike any other, one of one, and, creating a customized plan that makes sense for that particular person.
It does. And I think what I get many times is when people come in there and they'll say, well, Scott, I don't want to bother you or waste your time, but we don't have too much money. And they might have $1 million, but they think they don't have enough money. Then we have other people coming in saying the same thing, and they may have $50,000 saved. We are not, Alex, we don't look at them as the size of their portfolio, but how their portfolio is established based on what they have, based on what they need, and based on the tools that are in the tool house. So it's not how much do you have, it's what can we do and can we make it benefit? I may just simply say, you're doing a great job. Your advisor seems to be looking at the legal aspects, the tax benefit aspects, and the investments. It seems like they're all in alignment. Stay with the guy or gal. You might want to stay with them. It seems like they're doing a wonderful job. But 9 times out of 10, what I find is they're not looking at all those areas. But if they are, I am congratulating you for finding the right person who's paying attention. But just because you've been with them 2, 20, 30, 40 years, the same guy or gal, doesn't mean that they're driving the Mercedes and now they're driving a Ferrari. Each driving tool requires different skills. In retirement, those skills change from growth to income 9 times out of 10. But those of you who want to keep growing your money, great. Let's take a look at it. So it's your goal, not our goal, your dreams, your desire, your dynasty, and the dollars. Well, let's make sure they're working the way you want them to work. And this is why we look at people almost not a cookie cutter, because cookie cutter solutions, they just don't work. It's like, Alex, it's like Colonel Sanders babysitting your pet chicken. It just doesn't work.
I love that. And, you're willing to work with, if you voted for Trump, Harris, Pootie Pie, whatever it may have been, you are here at McLean Advisory Group ready to assist, as we are talking today about the new era of financial confidence. But again, Scott, happy to assist anyone, despite whatever the political beliefs.
I don't
may
even
be.
look at that.
Right.
If you don't like Trump, if you don't like Harris, if you don't like the Democrats, you don't like Republicans, you don't like the independent. Okay, great. Let's put that aside. You do like money. It's almost like in church, Scott, I think the money's the root of all evil. Time out, cuz. Money right up there is like breathing. You need it. You need it for some reason. So stop that religious connotation or the feeling of, whoever you like, that's who you should invest with, not invest with. No, it's what the market's offering. That's what you have to deal with. And that's it.
609-488-4646, the number for Scott and his team at McLean Advisory Group, 609-488-4646. We really appreciate you joining us today. And before we take a break, Scott, I just want to ask you very frankly here, what are you thankful for this year?
Thanksgiving is a wonderful time, and I'm so thankful, number one, that I love what I do. I don't know what else I would be doing in my life. I don't see myself retiring. I thank God that I am very healthy, at least with a couple knee surgeries and pains and aches. I am so thankful my brain is so sharp, and I love studying what's happening. So I'm so thankful that I have that ability. And then I'm so thankful for our clients who trust us. Trust, as my daddy always told me, is earned. Just because you do one thing good doesn't mean everything is good. So trust is earned. And I can tell you, we've had clients now over 30 plus years. And I say, their trust is still earned day by day. So thank those of you. I'm thankful for those of you that are clients of ours, or maybe you're thinking about what we do at our firm. I'm thankful that you even come in. The second thing I'm thankful that I have, and our firm has the ability. I've got some sharp people. I'm so thankful. So Alex, I guess there's two things, not one. And I am thankful for you, Alex, helping me with the show and making it as good as it is with so many listeners asking so many great questions. So thank you, Alex.
Absolutely. I'm very thankful to be a part of this machine and thankful for all of our tremendous listeners out there. So thank you, as always, for joining us. And we have plenty more financial insanity coming up.
Stop for a moment and think about this. Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money, but do you have a plan to help make sure you don't pay more than you should? At McLean Advisory Group, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you've earned, which is why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So call the McLean Advisory Group team today so you don't miss out on this opportunity. 609-488-4646. That's 609-488-4646. You work hard for your money, and we'll work just as hard to help you keep it. McLean Advisory Group, 609-488-4646. Investment advisory services offered through Sound Income Strategies, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. McLean Tax Advisory Group and Sound Income Strategies are not associated entities.
How much cash are we going to burn, and will you be out of money? And will the cat food train start to come alive? And that's where the rubber meets the road.
Great cat impersonation, by the way, Scott. That was spot on.
This is Financial Insanity with Scott McLean, powered by McLean Advisory Group.
As you could imagine, Scott gets questions each and every week about all things retirement, and we're going to open up some of these questions now. It's our mailbag segment, some common retirement questions. So, Scott, first off, thought this was a good one. We are seriously considering relocating now that we're a few years into retirement. Nothing is off the table, including moving abroad. Ooh la la. What are some things we should think about, Scott, when trying to decide where the heck we should go?
Well, being we just moved from Manahawkin, New Jersey, and my wife and I and daughter and family moved up to a place called Southampton, New Jersey, out to our farm. Many people know we have a farm and many horses out there in Southampton. You know, what do you think about? Number one, the expense of moving. Number two, the pain in the applesauce it is to move. And number three, are you away from the kids or not? So when I talk to people that are thinking about maybe getting a second home, maybe down south, a lot of people are talking to me now, Scott, what do you think we should do? How do we leverage our money? Where do we take the money from, Scott, to move? I've heard so many people ask these questions. If you're out there thinking about it, I'd love to speak to you, because what I found is people are taking the money from the wrong accounts, or they're not leveraging their money. They're not perhaps borrowing money on the new house to buy, waiting for their house to sell. The market's getting a little bit softer now lately. And as we see interest rates go up, it's going to get worse. So if you're going to sell, you might want to think about it right away. But notwithstanding, there's a lot of questions to find out. Do you like the area? Maybe you should move partially. For example, last family was just here, which is just last week, which is why I'm funny. You were asking these questions. People are calling all the time, these questions. They moved to, let's say, Florida. And here are these people from North Jersey moved to Florida. They're clients of ours, and they say, Scott, what do you think? I said, well, number one, leave your North Jersey attitude in New Jersey and become a Floridian and relax. Don't ruin yourself. But notwithstanding, do you like the area? Maybe you should rent. Well, Scott, we're throwing money away. I hear all the time. We're just throwing money away if we rent. Okay, but what better would it be, Alex, to throw your money away for a year and find out you don't like it?
Yeah.
Or all of a sudden you find out maybe the kids, you'll fly back and forth. It sounds good, but let me help those of you. It's a chore flying back and forth when your daughter or son finally pops out the first baby, second baby, third baby. You want to be around the kids, and all of a sudden you want to be near the grandchildren. Or maybe your spouse wants to be the grandchildren more than you. Well, now you're spending a lot of money you didn't think you were going to spend. So that move could be a best move in the world, or it could be devastating. That's why I say to some people, what's holding you here? Why are you staying? Do you want to stay? Well, maybe you should rent. But Scott, it costs more to rent. Okay, let's say you sell your house for $300,000. You made a nice profit. Take $20,000 and go ahead and blow it. That's right, rent.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know if you don't like it. Now, if you like it, great. Number two, as the stock market is waffling right now, real estate prices are starting to contract. You can get that information anywhere. Should you wait? If you got a big purchase, should you wait? So that is Alex, that question you're asking is not a simple question. It's not a generic question for me to say, yes, move. No. Everybody's so different. Perhaps you're going through medical conditions right now, and it's hard to change doctors. Well, that would be a concern. So that's, again, another reason maybe you should rent or not rent. Are you going to work down there, making new friends? So this is really could really eat into your wallet very rapidly with the bad mistake. Now, by the way, I'm not saying don't worry about making mistakes. Just add them up. Do a really a top-down approach, the pros and cons, a side-by-side approach, and think, okay, should I move or shouldn't I move? And then where does the money come from? Do I have enough cash? Should I borrow on my house to buy a new house and then sell my house? Well, that might be an opportunity. I have purchased lots of real estate over my life. I have been really blessed to build a development here in Toms River called Todd Road Estates. I've been really blessed in the area to get involved in real estate, let alone from my horse farm, the equestrian center we have out in Southampton, but yet in Ocala we have one. But the real question is, are we burning too much cash? Not burning too much cash? This is a loaded question. I know I'm all over the map for those listening to me, but let me help you out. If you're thinking about moving, I'm excited for you. I want the best for everybody, but there's a lot of questions to ask before you pull the trigger.
Scott McLean, McLean Advisory Group. And we have time for one more question, and this is a good one this time of year. Hearing this a lot, I'm sure. Do you help people with Medicare is the question. I've been getting a lot of mail and phone calls about it, and it's really overwhelming.
Medicare has so many questions, but Obama actually came up with a simple plan. Whether you like him or not, they came up with a simple plan. The question is, when you pick the right products, and this is where you really want to make your decisions on picking the Medicare plan. And then, of course, what plan's the best for you? Everybody's different. And then what is the best prescription plan to go? And so you can go on the website and look that up to find out what kind of medication you're taking. So it seems like an easy answer, but it's not. You could get from Gerber, remember Gerber baby food, and of course the Mutual of Omaha. Well, those are still plans out there, and there's some really good ones out there. People call us all the time. They want to find out what they can change to. Frankly, we're going to be building a department just for that area because people need those help. And very simple, but it's not simple. Simple is not always easy. I promise you that.
Yep. That is for sure. Well, Scott, take us home here. Final thoughts as we wrap up today's program.
Guys, working in this industry now, I think of the past going on 41 years now, you've got questions. And the challenge I find in our industry is maybe you leave the questions on the shelf and you forget about them and you don't ask the questions, or maybe you forget to ask the advisor. We encourage people. When people call us, they come into our office, write your questions down, bring them in. When people meet with them, I always say, hide your checkbook, hide your wallet. You cannot do business with me. Today, let's get to understand each other. Let's see if I can be of help. Perhaps you have an advisor you've had for 10, 15, 20 years. He might or she might be the best advisor in the world just for you. But there's something out there that maybe you should just get a second opinion. I promise you, if you had that pain in your hip for a long time, you might want to get a second opinion. And if you don't want to get that surgery, maybe you get a third opinion. By putting things on the shelf, you're putting or procrastinating, pushing things away. As we started one of the shows before, we spoke about diversifying your portfolio by using alternative investments, by paying attention to your taxes, Alex, you brought up today, and by paying attention to the legal documents. Is my estate of affairs in order? I promise you, after talking to a client today, they got their power of attorney as they head out to a trip tomorrow, and they're going to be going overseas. What better advice to get? Get your ducks in a row. Get all of your stuff out to your advisor. He or she should be answering these questions. Otherwise, you're stuck in the mousetrap. That's right, you're snapped because you didn't ask these questions. Write them down. Give our studios a call, 609-488-4646. I'd love to speak to you off the air, 609-488-4646, to help guide you make the right decisions with your money, because that wrong decision could cost you tons and tons of taxes, loss of money, and worry. The economy is not right now. So don't put this on the shelf, crossing your fingers and toes, thinking it's going to get better. I'm here to help you. 609-488-4646, McLean Advisory. Thanks for sharing your time with us.
This radio program may contain information which has gone regulatory or other significant changes since its original recording. The information and views expressed on today's show is educational in nature and is not intended to be a recommendation for any specific investment, product, strategy, plan, tax, or legal advice. Information presented is believed to be factual and up to date, but we do not guarantee its accuracy. Investment advisory services offered through Sound Income Strategies, LLC, a SEC-registered investment advisory firm. McLean Advisory Group and Sound Income Strategies, LLC, are not associated entities.
This radio show is a paid placement.
Who likes uncertainty? Wall Street certainly does not. With near record inflation and partisan politics, there's a lot of uncertainty right now. What will America's future look like? What will your future look like? Will your taxes go up? Will your savings go down? For more than 40 years here in the Jersey Shore area, Scott McLean and the team at McLean Advisory Group have seen uncertainty come and go. No matter what the future holds, Scott can help you create a plan designed to preserve your finances in uncertain times. And it's not a matter of if those uncertain times will show up, but when. Call 609-488-4646 now to meet with Scott McLean and the team at McLean Advisory Group. If uncertainty is causing you to feel insecure, Scott McLean might be able to help. Call 609-488-4646 and schedule your visit today. Again, that's 609-488-4646.
Investment advisory services are offered through Sound Income Strategies, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.